Hi, I'm Cynthia Gold. I'm the tea sommelier at Le Chevalier Restaurant in Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Boston, and we're here to talk about different styles of tea leaves. All true tea is from the same plant, Camellia sinensis. If you have an herbal infusion, that's not actually a tea, although we enjoy it in the same ways that we do enjoy true tea. A green tea is an unoxidized tea leaf. White tea is the same, equally unoxidized, which means that it was very carefully harvested without bruising it, brought in from the fields, and then allowed to wither and then dry without ever having those leaves bruise and begin the oxidative process. If instead we were to bruise those leaves intentionally, break the cell wall, and start oxidation, we're going to darken in color and flavor, bring out a very different style of aromatics, and we let the oxidation continue until it's 100% if we're making a black tea. If we instead stop with heat the oxidation midway in the process, that's an oolong. So all styles of tea come from the same plant, it's how you process them. Those are the general characteristics, oxidation, but then depending on the role of the leaf, when it's harvested, how it's harvested, there's so many different variables that can give us beautiful differentiation within the styles of tea. And if you have herbals, these are not true tea. This is a dried fruit and flower petal herbal, and this is chamomile with lemongrass. They are going to look dramatically different, of course, from your tea. You're not looking at the tea leaves, but they also should be stored in the same way. They're damaged by heat, moisture, and light. Now you'll notice this is a partially oxidized oolong, and it has a very, very tight roll on it. When you have leaves with a tight roll, that actually helps preserve and protect the tea leaf because not as much of it is exposed to the air. Therefore, these leaves will have a longer shelf life than these leaves because there's so much area to be exposed to the air, moisture, or heat. And in fact, oxidation of tea leaves began in the Orient as a way to preserve the tea so that it could hold up to transport route, whether it was in a ship hold or leaving the Orient to go to Europe, other regions of the world. By the time the green teas arrived at their destination, they were typically well past their prime. So oxidation began purely to help preserve tea. Now, all tea that is not a specific style meant to be aged is best when it's fresh. Fresh is a relative term, though. For a green tea, ideally you will consume it within 6 months of purchase, having stored it well the whole time. A black tea you'll have consumed within a year. Now, storing is crucial, so you want to keep away from air, light, and moisture. So the way to do that is not to put your tea canister in the cabinet above the stove. May be convenient to your tea kettle, but that's going to get very warm, and moisture from your stove is going to get up into that cabinet. So the best place to put your tea is in something that has been sealed to keep it airtight, keep it away from light, and keep it away from the stove to keep it away from heat. Like wine, you don't want changing temperatures. So I'm a big fan of pouches so that as you consume your tea, you can push the air out and reseal it. There are beautiful, beautiful canisters on the market for storing tea, but you're going to then keep air with your tea, and that's going to shorten the shelf life of your tea. If you take care of your tea, and if you've invested in a fine quality tea, you want to get the best quality product when you steep it. So you want to store it well. Of course, you want to buy it well also. So you should buy tea from vendors that you're familiar with, that you have every reason to believe they're giving you a good quality product. Your tea should have a nice, clean aroma, no off smell. You shouldn't see powder or too many broken edges in your tea unless it's a small leaf, fine cut tea. You want relatively even leaves on your tea. You want a little bit of a sheen to your tea leaves. If they look too dull, they're probably getting a little bit older. Depends, of course, on the style of tea. But in the end, the fresher the better. So buy your tea in small quantities and enjoy it quickly. And just rebuy when you decide that you want a different style of tea. You don't want to become a tea collector. If you have so many teas in your cabinets and you can't even remember when you bought them, then most of those teas are no longer fresh. And if you're going to invest in good quality tea leaves and take the effort to steep them, well, you really want that tea to show you the best it can offer, and freshness is crucial.